Hey, what is up guys, Chips here, and we are back here today for NPL Week 7, and this week we are going to be going up against Gregulator, a good friend of mine, and a very happy, vibrant guy in the community. He's definitely a threat. This man knows how to play Mons, and he's had a really solid season so far. He's got Lando Zard X, as you guys can see over to the right, and that's a core I really like. It's actually a pairing I was really considering leading up to this NPL season. With the advent of Lando getting defog, I just really think the two make a really nice pair for each other, and they serve to wear down their shared checks in like fat grounds, fat waters. So I think it's a really cool pairing, and he has some really solid Volt turn in Scissor and Rotom Wash. He did get the Rotom Wash, so yeah, he picked that one up before I could grab it this season. But obviously Kuhn has been killing it, so it's all good. But yeah, Greg's got a really interesting team. He's got a very solid bulky grass and Celebi, very solid mon, and then he's got some nice low tier heat in Raticate and Toxicroak, which have been putting in the work for him, and I could definitely see Raticate coming in this game potentially as his sort of Aegis I guess response. But yeah, Greg's got a very solid team, one of the most offensive kind of spooky teams in the league. He's got the double bug offense with stacking options. He's got Trick Room support with Stack Attacker and viable setters in Celebi and Gardevoir, and he's got mons that can really take advantage of a whole bunch of different play styles, and then boosting options in Lando T and Zard X. So yeah, really solid team. I think this is probably one of the best teams Greg's drafted in my opinion, and it's gonna be interesting to take him on this week, because I don't want to say one of us has like a superior matchup to the other, but I think we both definitely have a lot of big threats to each other's team, and it's going to be interesting to see how we each prep. So jumping right into it, we're going to be starting off with my Mega Medi this week, and this thing is Mega Medi has been really putting in the work this season. I'm very much enjoying using this thing, and it's no different in this matchup here. So as you can see, like Ice Punch, very nice to the Lando and the Celebi. Drain Punch is fantastic for a lot of his team, and chances are he's going to bring Protect on things to block High Jump Kick, because High Jump Kick just destroys his team. So with sort of Hazard Chip and Residual Chip from other offensive attackers on my team, things get in range of Drain Punch quite easily, so it's not that bad. Poison Jab predominantly here for a defensive guard, as well as being able to do a bit more damage to a defensive Celebi than Ice Punch will do. For instance, like if he switches in on an Ice Punch and he's like max defensive, he'll get killed the next turn by a Poison Jab. Just the way the rolls there work. But yeah, Medi is just amazing here. Bullet Punch, very nice for that priority versus like a Scarf Guard or something, and it can be very useful outplaying something like Sucker Punch from Raticate or Toxicroak. So yeah, Medi pretty self-explanatory here. Nothing too crazy about this Medi set, but yeah, very effective nonetheless. Next up we have my Stone Plate Nihilego. Greg actually lacks a real sort of solid rock resist outside of Stack Attacker, which really gets blown away by Hidden Power Ground if he's not Balloon or Shuka. So that's really solid. Psyshock obviously here for the Toxicroak, and Sludge Wave blows away stuff like Celebi, does more damage to Rotom Wash even with the Stone Plate, I believe, and yeah, can just be a solid option versus stuff like Gardevoir. Not too much to explain about this set. It's just a very solid win con in its own right, as the way the speed tiers of my offense works pretty much does outspeed Greg's offense, unless he brings something like Scolipede or like Scarfed Rotom. And then of course he has priority in Sizzle, which can obviously check stuff like Nihilego quite well, but bar that, Nihilego's speed tier has a pretty great matchup in this game. Then we have nice Z Outrage Chomp, rocking the sub this week to capitalize on potential like aggressive guard switches that he may make on my Z Draco, which is a fair play and a pretty aggressive play. Like Greg's known for being able to play aggressively, so sub capitalizes on that. It also helps me in Sucker Punch 1v1s versus stuff like Croak and Raticate. So yeah, sub, pretty fantastic move here. Stealth Rock's essential as usual, and nothing too crazy about this Chomp, but very effective at what it can do in this game. His Fairy is a guard, and nothing else really wants to take a Z Outrage, bar Stack Attacker, which gets blown away by Earthquake. So then we have my Mandibuzz, probably one of the mons I've used I've enjoyed using this season the most. Mandy in conjunction with U-turn. I'll say it again. Mandy plus U-turn into Medi. Whew. That is a nice combo right there. Like this is how you use Mandy. You use it with U-turn. You take advantage of its bulk and you bring in Medic. You know, that's the kind of concept in this match. Mandy is irritating for stuff like Zardex. It's irritating for stuff like Celebi. Even the Lando if it's not like Z Skystrike or Z Continental Crush. And I can always U-turn out on threats, bring in one of my own offensive threats. Defog is here to avoid getting stacked because Greg has stacking options, and my team doesn't appreciate stacking options, and Chomp gets rocks up at multiple stages in the game with, you know, pretty nice ease. So yeah, happy to bring Defog in this game. And lastly, we second to last actually, we've got the Coon. Pretty interesting Coon set this week. Really hoping this can work. Obviously, it's a toxic 3 attacks Coon. Signal Beam is here to weaken Celebi. Max HP Celebi is 2 KO'd. If I got rocks up, it's 2 KO'd with leftovers, so that's really solid. Extra Sensory blows away a Toxicroak, and Scald is nice and just spammable versus his team. Toxic is here to let me cripple stuff like Rotom, stuff like a really fat Zardex that may want to just roost stall my Suicune. I can just throw a Toxic off on that, put him on a timer, which is going to be nice for the rest of my team. Stuff like Mandy will appreciate that, as yeah, a defensive Zardex would be able to, you know, take under half from a foul play. So yeah, very nice Coon, hoping it can put in work. Very solid in this match. Then we have the last one on the team. We have my nice Sugar AG. Yeah, this AG has a few different purposes this game. It can check a Landorus T with Shadow Ball. I take even an Earthquake in my Blade form with the Sugar Berry, which is pretty crazy. Sub with King's Shield and Sacred Sword allows me to sub on the predicted Eradicate switch in if he does bring it, and bop him with the Sacred Sword the following turn. I can also capitalize on potential SDs or sub on Greg's part as he predicts King's Shield with in a 1v1 situation with his Eradicate. So yeah, AG pretty solid in this game. Shadow Ball is very spammable versus his team. Like I mentioned, his only sort of resist to that is the Eradicate, so that's going to be very nice for AG here. It also doubles as a nice Scully check because Scully's EQ at +2 is doing nothing with my Sugar Berry, even without my Sugar Berry, because this AG is nice and fat. So yeah, that's the thought process behind this AG. Yeah, Gray's got a pretty threatening team. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings. I sort of am at matchup expecting Lando Zard, Celebi with some sort of Coon check, be it Toxicroak or Rotom, or even just relying on Celebi, but I really feel as though he's going to bring another response to that, and then either Stack Attacker or Eradicate, probably the Gardevoir as well. All mons that I'm thinking have a solid place in this game. So I'm going to pause it here, jump into the replay, and see what Greg ended up bringing. Alright guys, so we are back here with Game versus Greg, and as you can see, he did opt to bring the Zard Lando combo, which is, yeah, a really solid matchup versus my team. He's opted to bring the Croak and the Celebi, so 2 Coon checks on deck, and then you see the Gardevoir and the Stack Attacker. So no Eradicate this game, which is you know, good and bad. We did prep for that, but obviously that thing is as much of a meme as it is, it's still a bit of an irritating one to face. Stack Attacker, we do have the Sugar Berry on AG, which allows that to double as a Stack Attack check too with the Sacred Sword. And yeah, feeling pretty confident about the matchup going in. Probably going to be Rocks on Celebi or Stack Attacker. If he's defensive Lando, then he's going to be Rocks. If he's offensive, I doubt it, because he's going to want coverage to break down my team. He's probably going to want Grass Knot for the Quagsire, and Grass Knot or Hidden Power Grass will probably be rocking on Zardex as well. So these are my thoughts at matchup. Garchomp, pretty solid lead if he leads with Guard. I don't expect him to be Scarfed. If he is Scarfed, I can always scout with my Aegislash. But realistically, I feel like he's going to lead either Stacker, he's probably going to lead his Rocker, or he's going to lead something like Landorus. So I am going to lead off with my my Garchomp, as he does lead off with his Balloon Stack Attacker. So right here, I am just going to get up my Rocks. I've got comfortable ways of beating this Stack Attacker without losing my Chomp, like turn 1 to, you know, popping my Z move and then clicking EQ the next turn. No reason to do that yet. I can just yeah, get my Rocks up here and then go into something like Suicune to start threatening his team. As that is what I choose to do, as he is going to go for the Gardevoir, and that does a ton. That does 83. So yeah, Stacker, really nice and powerful. But you know, Garchomp hangs on, and this turn I am going to be able to go out to Coon. Yeah, very easily he could have gone for the EQ here, predicting AG, or the Toxic, predicting anything else. As Greg does make the nice play of going for a Toxic, and he catches my Coon here. Now, if I were like a Vine Coon or like a Carmine non-rest Coon, this Toxic would have been very irritating. But as you guys know from the team builder, we're a nice kind of, I don't know, 3 attacks Toxic Coon. So yeah, right here, I am going to fire off the Signal Beam, expecting the Celebi to try and get up Rocks. As Rocks, like, if Greg wants to get back in this, because like I say back in this, but like it doesn't seem like it at this stage. It's so early in the game. Like, how can you tell who's in front? But the fact that like I know what my Coon set is and he doesn't, puts me in an advantageous position. Like, he thinks having Coon crippled potentially is going to, you know, really be a great thing for him over the course of the game. But this Coon is a bit more expendable than it would be, you know, if it were like a really fat Coon. So things are looking good. I feel like Greg is probably going to want to get Rocks the turn he switched out Stacker, and because he showed, I'll just go back here, because he showed to be Gyro, he's shown to be Balloon. I'm thinking this could well be Trick Room, like Trick Room Toxic, maybe Trick Room Toxic Gyro, potentially to Balloon, allowing him to set up Trick Room versus stuff like Garchomp, and potentially be a solid win-con like game. But he could also be Balloon Rocks. Regardless, like, I don't think he's going to stay in versus my Coon and let me, you know, scald him, weaken him, and you know, just to get a Rocks after he Toxics me here. So I do make the Signal Beam play as he does switch out into the Toxicroak, and this is all good. I let the timer run down a little bit just to, you know, imply that maybe I'm really considering my play here, and then I am just going to reveal the extra sensory and blow away this Cane Toad. So my man Greg, he thought he could bring a Cane Toad to a match versus the Aussie, and you know, I had my bat on deck. I had you know, although the Cane Toads have evolved to avoid the bat, you know, we stay ahead of the times. We're innovating out here, and telekinesis is the new way to combat these Cane Toads out here. So yep, Toxicroak is going to drop, and he is going to bring out his Gardevoir here. Now, the only way this guard is a real threat to my team is if it's an irritating, like he could well be Specs. Like, Specs is certainly a set he could bring here, but if he's something like Carmine Wish set, that could be a little bit annoying because Nihilego is no longer going to be able to knock it out with Sludge Wave. And if he's like a really Fizz-Def set, he won't die to stuff something like Poison Jab from full. So I am just going to take this opportunity to get off a Toxic. Suicune has really like performed its role well. Celebi, even if Suicune were to go down here, Celebi is checked by pretty much everything else on my team, so I'm not too fast about Suicune going down here. If that is the case, he's really put in the work. I am just going to fire for Toxic as this guard this turn is going to go for the Wish, and he's going to reveal Lefties. So this is important information. This implies that he's probably going to be Fizz-Def, Fizz-Def with probably Moonblast, maybe Shadow Ball, potentially Psychic over or Psyshock over Moonblast, but Wish, maybe Wish Protect, Calm Mind, and Stab, or Wish Protect, 2 attacks. But the fact that I got that Toxic off is going to put this on a timer, negating its lefties and eventually wearing it down. So that's really solid. I'm going to preserve Coon here because preserving Coon gives me a mon that can threaten defensive Landorus, potentially Toxic Fat Zard, and revenge a weakened Celebi with Signal Beam, as well as scalding Stacker's Balloon. So no reason to sack it off there when I have AG in the back, as this turn he is going to go for the Moonblast. And unfortunately he does get the special attack drop, which is pretty bad, because now Aegislash won't be able to kill. Like, if he ends up going to Charizard the next turn, and if he didn't get the special attack drop, I would be able to OHKO the Zard after Rocks. But as you're going to see, Aegislash does actually get a crit on Zard, so we get some luck back in our favor there, after a season of what has just seemed like bad luck after bad luck. But yeah, Aegislash gets a nice crit there. Definitely unfortunate for Greg, although yeah, at that stage, like, knowing full well that AG was at -1, even if he did go into Zard, which I didn't actually think he'd make that play. I felt like he'd probably go into Lando if it was a bulky set, as that could get up Rocks and then threaten my Aegislash the next turn, you know, forcing me not to stay in Sword form, you know, if he didn't think I was Shooker. But he actually did go into Zard there, and My kind of thought process there was that if he did go into Charizard and Shadow Ball obviously wouldn't kill, I'd be able to go out into my Mandibuzz, U-turn on his Roost or on his Flare Blitz even if you wanted to click that. But chances were he was probably going to Mega Evolve and Roost up, and then U-turn the next turn into something like Nihilego, which can just start clicking Stone Plate Power Gem versus his team. Stack Attacker being his only real switch into that, who then gets bodied by Hidden Power Ground. I also have the option of going into my Medicham there and just getting the Mega Evolution off, but ultimately we did get the crit there, so yeah, Zard is just removed, no longer a factor in this game, and he's going to bring the Lando, and now I am going to go out to my Mandy here as he does get up his Rocks. So Rocks confirmed on Landorus. This implies that again Stacker is probably going to be Trick Room. So this turn he is going to go for the Protect, so his lefties Protect, Stealth Rocks, he's going to be EQ, and now he's going to reveal the Hidden Power Ice. So this is defensive Landorus. I'm a big fan of Protect lefties on Lando. I think it's a really nice way to get a little bit of extra residual recovery back, and yeah, just increase Lando's longevity through the game. But slow U-turn into from Mandy into my Medi, he's going to really force this Landorus in a tough spot because I do have the Ice Punch, and I am going to reveal that here as he does go into his Stacker. So yeah, Medi is just going to claim one right here. If Stacker wants to stay in, he's going to get Drain Punched, as he is going to reveal the Protect. So yeah, scouting for that high jump kick. But you know, we aren't rocking high jump kick this week, as Drain Punch will be able to do the job. But now he's going to go into his Gardevoir here, and he's going to chew this max attack Drain Punch reasonably well. It takes 17%. That's a 4 times resist. So yeah, defensive guard coming through. But we've got the Poison Jab, so Poison Jab is going to take out the guard. If I wasn't Poison Jab, he would have lived an Ice Punch there, as well as a Bullet Punch. So I agree with him making that series of plays. I feel like that was the way he beat Medicham, but obviously we are the Poison Jab set here, so that's going to come through. Right here, I'm just going to go back out into Mandibuzz, as this Landorus cannot touch Mandy. I can get a free Roost up here if I want on his Hidden Power Ice, or his, like, if he switches to Stacker here on my Roost, I just U-turn out into my Aegislash, or even my Coon, I guess. But if he stays in Hidden Power Ice, I get back to a high amount of health. If he goes Celebi, I just U-turn out the following turn, getting the slow U-turn into Nihilego. So this is what I mean. This is just a very well constructed team. There's not much Greg can do to overcome that. So he is going to make the switch out to Celebi, as I do just U-turn out. And this is going to give me my Garchomp right here. Obviously could have gone to Nihilego here, but I wanted to scout for a Scarf Celebi, as that is a potential bring versus my team. Scarf Trick has its place versus me, so that is my phone going off again. And now his Celebi is inside, and this is going to give me information on the Celebi. I really do expect Fizz Def here, because I kind of feel like he needs Fizz Def, like he needs a secondary Medicheck in my opinion. But the fact that he's shown Fizz Def Guard means that this Celebi could well be offensive, and he hasn't shown a Scarfer yet, so this is all important information, all important things to consider. I'm not trying to throw away a Wincon in the late game, so I'm going to go out to my Garchomp here and just fire off the Z-Draco. If he outspeeds me, he's Scarfed. If he doesn't, then I kill him with Z-Draco. But he's going to make the switch out here. He did reveal Leftovers that turn, so he's not Scarfed, meaning Nihilego just wins at this point. So right now I am going to fire off the Z Outrage and get chip off on this Lando, get a nice 46% off, and now the Lando's back. We know this Lando's moveset. There's really not much this Landorus can do to my Mandibuzz. At this stage in the game, I could have preserved the 6-0, but there's no reason to. Like, Greg's a good friend, and there's no reason to like risk him critting my Mandibuzz with Hidden Power Ice or something after Rocks. And you know, I'd lose him on that way anyway. And if I go to Medi and he crits EQ, for example, like I could have gone to Medi here, preserve the 6-0, just clicked Ice Punch, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, but you know, I'm not trying to like 6-0, so I'm just gonna sack off Chomp here, just gonna click Outrage, and yeah, either Medi or Nihilego can come and clean up this game. But because Nihilego is pretty high up there in my MVP race on my team, I am gonna just go in with Medi with my Nihilego here and just click Power Gem, because nothing is going to be able to take a Power Gem into a Sludge Wave or into a Hidden Power Ground, as you're going to see here. So yeah, Stack Attacker is going to drop, and that Power Gem did a ton. That did 26. So that's pretty solid, as Nihalego is going to get the special attack boost and is just going to wrap up this game. So yeah, very solid game versus Greg this week. Very happy with the way the team worked out. I was pretty stoked to see Kuhn get the kill there. Happy to see that set work out. But yeah, I think it was just a particularly well-built team, and it was just effective versus what Greg brought. Greg's certainly a really solid player, and yeah, I wouldn't say like a 5-0 represents like his season at all. He's had a very good season, in fact, and I wouldn't be surprised if Greg makes his run for playoffs still, even at this stage in the season, because it's still not too late. So go and check out Greg's side of the match. He's a very, very funny content creator. He's a very like energetic and content creator. He's a guy that I really enjoy to watch, so I'd recommend going and checking out his side. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this week. Drop a like if you did. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.